Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, and today I'm going to be taking you along with me while I create my first ever vision board. Just bringing out my inner Vanna White. Okay, stop doing that now. I may be a little hyper in this introduction and also in the outro because if I'm honest, I've been working on this video for about 12 hours straight now, and I'm feeling a little loopy. So let's just get right into it. So the whole reason I wanted to make a vision board is that I'm currently in a time of a pretty big transition in my life. As those of you who watched my April plan with me know, I just quit my day job a couple of weeks ago and am now attempting to be a full-time YouTuber, as well as continuing to pursue my primary career, which, again, some of you may know, is musical theater. That's what I went to college for. So my whole life is kind of flipped upside down, from working full-time hours as a supervisor at a restaurant while doing YouTube and auditions in my spare time, to being home every single day working on content for YouTube and being free to audition whenever an opportunity comes up. So everything has changed. My life has flipped upside down in a wonderful way. But even though it's a great change, even though it's something I've wanted for so long, even though I am so excited and happy, it's still very, very different and kind of scary and just a complete departure from my regular schedule. And I worked at that job for 2 years. So that's a really long time, and 2 years of having a very particular type of schedule. And now just all of that is completely out the window. So I'm feeling a little lost, and I thought now would be a wonderful time. Not only is it the beginning of a new month, not only is it the beginning of a new season, but it's also the beginning of the next chapter of my life. So I thought this was the perfect time to do something like a vision board, to really take the time to analyze where I'm at right now in my life, where I want to be, who I want to be, and represent that in a visual way, in something that I can look at every single day to keep me goal-oriented, to keep me motivated. I was hoping that this would create kind of a roadmap for me so I can remember what's important to me, what I care about, who I want to be, and what I want to achieve. So that's my purpose of my vision board. So if that's you, if you feel like you're in a bit of a rut, or you've recently had a change, or if you are just feeling like you need a little more motivation to hit your goals, maybe take this as a sign that you should make your own vision board, whether that's a physical one like I've done, or a digital one on Pinterest or in Photoshop, and take this as an opportunity to reassess your goals. I made a Thank You Next 2018 Year in Review and 2019 Goals spread back in January, which I will link in the cards if you want to go watch. And those were sort of my version of New Year's resolutions. But I feel like with any goal, you really want to reassess them on a pretty regular basis, because otherwise it's really easy to lose track of them, to fall off the wagon, and then just kind of forget about them. So this was also kind of a chance for me to reassess my New Year's resolutions from that spread that I made in that video, because while some of those things are still totally my goals that I'm working towards, some of them don't apply anymore, or some of them I've already achieved. So it's always good to reassess and refocus. Sometimes there's a goal that you really wanted, and then a few months later you realize you just don't want that anymore. And it's better to take that off of your mental list, to kind of clear that out and put something new that's more important in its place. So all of that said, let's get into the process of creating my vision board. And make sure you stick it out all the way to the end, because I'm going to be giving you a close-up tour of my vision board, talking a little bit more about my goals, why I chose what I chose, and all of that good stuff. The first thing I did early this morning was I sat down with my cup of coffee and I looked through my bullet journal at my 2019 goals spread and really thought about those goals, about what still applied, what was new, what was different, and kind of how I'm feeling right now at this point in my life with this big change that's happening. So I just took some time to think And then I started to just write out what came to mind. I created a brain dump. So I loosely grouped these ideas into 4 categories. So I started with career first and really focused on my goals and dreams for my career. So I have some goals for Plant-Based Bride, for my YouTube and Instagram, my Patreon, and a couple of goals that are performance related, more for my acting, performing career. Once I'd kind of written out the main ones that had come to mind on the career front, I moved on to the love category. For me, this one was pretty small because I am very, very grateful to be in a wonderful marriage. I love my husband very much. Y'all know this. I feel like I'm constantly talking about him on my YouTube channel. Most of you probably feel like you know him at this point. Then I had the personal category, which was just sort of about my mindset and my relationships that are not romantic, so like friendships and family. Next up is the physical category. Now, this is not the traditional physical category that you'll see on most vision boards. I don't have anything on there about losing weight or getting fitter. I don't have pictures of super fit women on my vision board that I'm trying to be more like, nothing like that. And that was very intentional. Now, everybody is different. And if you have a goal for your body, if you want to get fitter, if you want to lose weight, whatever that is, that's your goal, that's your life, and more power to you. But for me, as someone who is in recovery from an eating disorder, I have been in recovery for about 5 years now. I do my very best to just accept my body how it is, and I'm coming to terms with loving my body's natural set point. And I'm pretty sure that every single video I watched about vision boards had at least one picture of a girl with abs on the beach, so I kind of felt like it was important to make a point that your vision board doesn't have to do with your body. It can if that's a goal for you, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to make your vision board what other people expect it to be, and your goals don't have to be the goals that society expects us to have. My physical goals are more about like physical skills, so working on my flexibility. The next thing I wanted to do once I had all of my goals written down was to go back and write down one emotion for each goal, how I would feel in achieving that. So some of the words that I wrote down were accomplished, proud, excited, happy, safe, calm, in love, romantic, at peace, confident, supported, self-assured, powerful, capable, strong, and fun. And those are all emotions that I want to feel on a daily basis. I felt it was important to tie the emotions to the goals so that they're not so technical, they're not so clinical, they are tied deeply to my emotions and my hopes and dreams and who I am as a person. So that was step 1. I have my entire list. And now that I have my list together, it is time to find my images, which means I get to jump on Pinterest, which is one of my favorite places on the internet. So this part of the process is all about finding the pictures that represent my goals. Depending on your goals, you may be able to find pictures really easily on Pinterest or Google or Instagram even that are exactly what you want. But if you have more niche goals, you may have to get creative. And if you have something like Photoshop on hand, that can make it a lot easier. So my first goal on the list was hitting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I would love, love, love to hit 100,000 subscribers someday. I know it will take me a while, but I'm happy to work to get there. So that's the first thing on my list. And I felt the most effective way to remind myself of this would just be to Photoshop my numbers, basically. So I went on to Social Blade and grabbed a screenshot of my current subscriber count, which is coming up close to 27,000 subscribers, and just took a quick screenshot and did some Photoshop magic and popped a 1 in front of my 26,899 subscribers and gave myself 126,899 subscribers. My next goal is to book a Stratford or Mirvish show. Stratford Festival and Mirvish are 2 of the biggest theater companies in Canada, two of the biggest professional theater companies. And while I have worked in professional theater companies in Canada, I am in the Actors Union. For some reason, my mind won't accept that I'm a professional actor until I work for Stratford or Mirvish. And I've come close a couple times, but I've never actually done it. So that's a big goal for me. It's really something I want to achieve before my performing years are done. So I just grabbed a photo from one of their productions and photoshopped my face from one of my headshots onto the face of the woman at the front so that when I look at it, I see myself in a Stratford show. Definitely time consuming, but if it helps keep me motivated and on track, then it was all worth it. Some of these were much easier and didn't involve Photoshop, and I just had to find the pictures on Pinterest or Google. So just scrolling through Pinterest, grabbing some quotes and things, grabbing some photos, just trying to really get a variety and also get some images that really represent the feel I'm going for and my aesthetic, so that I generally like the look of the vision board. Since I'm going to be looking at it every single day, I should like what it looks like. So once I had all of my photos chosen, my next step was to save all of the photos that I wanted to use to my desktop just so that they would be easily accessible, and then opened up Photoshop, just an 8.5 by 11 size canvas, and started popping in all of the photos and words and things into a collage on the pages and printed them out once each page was full. Chewy watched them print because he is obsessed with my printer and watches everything I ever print as it is printed. Let me know if you also have a cat and a printer, if your cat is the same or if it's just mine, because Yoda doesn't care at all, but Chewy gets very excited. So once my pages were printed, it was time to grab all of my supplies together. I decided to use a cork board for my vision board instead of a poster board or any of the other options that are out there. The only reason I chose a corkboard is because whoever lived in our apartment before we did left this corkboard hanging on the wall, and we've never had any use for it, and I finally found a use for it. And I like to use things that I already have instead of buying new things, so I got pretty excited about having a corkboard ripe for the usage. So the next stage is really just to lay everything out and try to figure out how things go together. This is probably the longest part of the process, just rearranging, trying to find a way to really get everything to fit on there, but also kind of look cohesive and well thought out. I tried to keep things generally to categories. I tried to keep career things sort of together, personal goal things generally together, all my love things together, friendship things together, stuff like that. Some of it is kind of mixed up throughout, but I did want to kind of keep things split up by category. I kind of realized that I would need more to be able to cover the entire corkboard, and I ended up going back and grabbing a couple pictures that I had printed and resizing them larger so that I could kind of put them down underneath everything else as almost a background to add other things on top. And I'm really glad that I did that. This photo of the shoes in the flowers there, this photo of the redheaded woman holding the sunflowers, those kind of created good backgrounds and filled in some of that extra weirdly shaped space because I didn't want it to be too cluttered. And I feel like having a couple larger images helps to add to the variety, so not everything is the same size, but also helps to keep it feel a little less overwhelming to look at. So once I was generally happy with the layout, I took a couple pictures with my phone so I could remember my idea, and then started taping things down. I started taping things just so that they would stay in place while I pinned them, because every time I moved around I was creating wind that was moving things, and that's when I realized that taping everything down was probably my best bet, and then I could use my push pins just for some extra security at the end. So that's what I did. This again was a pretty long process, actually taping everything down, making sure everything looked good, doing a couple final rearranging moments until I was happy with how everything looked. And then our very last step was adding just a couple push pins to really keep everything secure. That's my entire vision board completed, and I'm actually so happy with how this turned out. All right, so now it's time to give you a little bit of a vision board tour, so I hope you're ready. This is my vision board. I am very proud of it. It is like a third baby to me, my first two babies being Chewy and Yoda, my cats. This I'm going to hang up just on the wall beside where I'm filming here in my office so that it's up where I can look at it every day when I'm sitting at my desk. Every time I walk in the room, it will be right in front of me and remind me the goals that I am fighting for, that I'm working towards. So my career section is generally over on this side. So I have my Instagram followers here, my YouTube subscriber count, my Patreon, I have my Stratford Photoshopped photo there. I have a cast list here for a Mervis show with my headshot there. I have a woman singing to represent working on my vocal technique. I have this beautiful dancer, follow her on Instagram. I'll link her below if you want to check her out. She's a beautiful ballet dancer. But she has wonderful, wonderful flexibility. So she's to remind me to continue to work on regaining my flexibility. Someone playing piano, someone playing bass there. Those were sort of personal skills, but tying them into this side since this has become sort of my performance and career side. I also have a little mail symbol with 0 because the number of emails I get on a daily basis in regards to my YouTube channel and Instagram is ridiculous, and I actually hate emails so much. They give me intense anxiety. So something I really want to work on is getting as close to inbox 0 as possible and maintaining it there, because I am really bad about just kind of leaving emails and not responding because I get really anxious about it. I also have a couple quotes there. So I have "You are a star." I have "Coffee in one hand, confidence in the other." Fitting for me. I have "I will" instead of "I wish." "Every inch a queen." I breathe in calmness and breathe out worry. I am financially abundant. That one's important for me because I'm definitely worried about money in this transition period in my career. Down here I have some images from Star Trek Discovery because I would really love to be on the show. As y'all know, I love, love, love Star Trek, so I would adore the opportunity to be on the show. They're filming in Toronto, so now is my chance. Don't ever let other people decide who you are. So then we start moving over into the more personal stuff. So I have "Wherever you are, be all there." I have "Keep killing it," "Good vibes," "Live in the moment," taking your time to enjoy the present moment. That's something I really wanted to focus on. And also here you might notice there is a beautiful clear cheek to represent my goal of getting clear skin. It's something I have always wanted, and I have not had clear skin since I was a preteen. I think I have always had at least one pimple since I was about 14 or 15 years old, and I'm now 26. So I know that I'm very lucky. I know my skin issues are not nearly as severe as what a lot of people go through, and I'm very grateful for that. But I definitely still struggle with my skin on a regular basis. I get hormonal breakouts. I tend to break out every month just before my period starts, which means that by the time I get my skin clear, it's only another week or two before I'm gonna get another hormonal breakout. And usually I do have at least a couple things in between that time. So I just never really get to feel what it's like to have perfectly clear skin. And I would love, love, love to know what that's like. But clear skin has always been something that's been a tough one for me. As anyone knows who has struggled with their skin, especially as an adult, it can really, really destroy your self-confidence. And especially as a vegan, as some of you know who follow me on Instagram, yesterday was actually my 6-year vegan anniversary. I've been vegan for 6 years and 1 day today. I think I put extra pressure on myself because people say that veganism is, you know, the end all be all for health, that it's a magic cure all, which it isn't. It's not magic. It doesn't cure everything. It is what it is. I think it's wonderful. I'm so glad that I made that choice, but it's not magic, and you don't automatically get clear skin forever when you go vegan. You just don't. Some people do, and that's amazing, and I'm very jealous, but I struggled a lot for years, honestly, that my skin wasn't perfectly clear as a vegan because I felt like that was part of my reward, you know? I am doing a hard thing. I am sacrificing for what I believe is right. I should get to have clear skin as a reward. These other people do. I should be able to as well. And it didn't happen for me that way. And I think I resented that for a long time. And I also felt like I was going to get serious. I'm going to get all emotional. I think I have to put this down. I felt like I was letting down the movement, honestly, by continuing to have what I considered to be bad skin. But especially last year around this time when I was getting my new headshots taken, which my profile image here on YouTube and on my Instagram is one of my headshots that I had taken at this session, my skin was pretty much the worst it had ever been in my life, to the point where I just felt so horrible about myself and so disappointed in myself. I didn't want to tell people in my real life that I was vegan because I didn't want them to associate veganism with the state of my skin. I didn't want them to think, wow, I thought vegans were healthy, but look at her skin. You know, I didn't want someone to decide not to go vegan because of me and because of my skin being bad. And, you know, I felt like I wasn't a good poster child for veganism. I wasn't a good activist because my skin wasn't good. And it's easier to think this now that my skin is a little bit better, but I'm also learning, you know, even just being a year older, I'm learning that those things aren't intrinsically linked. I can still be a good activist. I can still be a good example of what veganism looks like and how it can be good for people, even if I'm not perfect, because no one is perfect. And, you know, your skin isn't only controlled by what you eat. It's controlled by a lot of things. I need to remind myself that it's not all up to me. You know, if someone notices that my skin's not looking great and they know I'm vegan and that makes them decide not to try veganism, I can't hold myself responsible for everyone else's choices. I just can't. And yeah, so my skin is kind of tied up in all of these other things, like not only, you know, generally society telling us that we have no value if we're not beautiful, and, you know, skin being seen as such an indicator of health and beauty. And if you don't have clear skin, you're seen as dirty or bad, which is just so messed up in so many ways. You know, I don't just have that aspect of it. I also have this deep tied in aspect of feeling like I'm not a good activist or I'm not a good vegan if I don't have clear skin. And that's something I am working on. I'm working on accepting my skin where it's at, but I do also want to try to find a way for me to have clear skin, if there is a way, because I really, really want to know what that feels like. I really, really do. So that whole spiel out of the way, now that I've talked for a million years, I need to drink water. I'm stressed. So, yeah. Now we're gonna get back to the tour. So moving on from the personal section, we get into the last two sections, which are the love section, and then this bottom part, this is sort of my friendship section. So relationships, I guess, along this side. So the top is my honeymoon with Jason. So I picked a couple images from Spain, some love to break up the honeymoon section from the date night section. So I have a couple options for date night. A rose petal filled bath, if only our bath was that large. Hanging out by the fire, blanket fort with a movie, stargazing, camping, all that good stuff. So I have my little date night section. And then the bottom here is my friendship section. So I just have some images of groups of people hanging out together, girls' nights, etc. I have this little neon sign that says happy, and then I also have this image here that says kind people are my kind of people. So just focusing on fostering strong and supportive friendships. So that is my entire vision board and the tour of the whole thing. Like I said, I'm actually really, really happy with how this turned out. I wasn't really sure what it was going to look like, but I feel like it's a pretty good representation of who I want to be and where I want to go. And I actually really like how it turned out visually, so I'm excited to put it up on my wall and look at it every single day, keep myself motivated to hit those goals. And I really do feel like this whole process has given me a little bit more of a roadmap to navigate this new chapter of my life and kind of try to make sense of where I'm going and how I'm gonna get there, because like I said, it's a really big transition and everything is different now. My day-to-day life is very different than it has been for the past few years. So it's new and it's scary, and this is going to help me get through it, I think. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the process of me building my vision board. I would love to see yours if you make a vision board, whether it's digital or physical. If you make a vision board after watching this video or while watching this video, please send me a picture, whether that's on Instagram. You can send me an email with a picture if you want, whatever. Please send it to me. I would love to see your vision boards. And in the comments below, let me know your #1 goal right now. What are you working towards? What would you put front and center on your vision board if you were making one, or if you have made one? What went in that place of honor? What is your #1 priority, biggest goal? I really want to know. I also think it would be lovely if after you leave your goal, you scroll down a little bit and leave some encouraging words on the goals of others. We can all lift each other up and help each other reach our goals, even if it's just by sending good vibes out into the universe for each other. I'm going to take a brief moment to thank my brand new patrons. Thank you so much to Andrea, Brittany, Elizabeth, and PJ. Welcome to the Plant-Based Bride Patron Squad. If you want to join the Plant-Based Bride Patron Squad, the link will be in the description box down below. So that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. It really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye, friends. Oh, one more thing. If you didn't see, I actually posted 3 April Plan With Me videos this month, which is kind of ridiculous. I am very tired. Please help me. Yes, I posted 3 April Plan With Me's. Mine, which was a There's Coffee in That Nebula theme. My husband's, which is an 8-bit Nintendo, like original NES theme. And also a Plan With Me video on the DINGBATS YouTube channel. It's more of a traditional Easter theme with bunnies and flowers. It's slightly more of a realistic drawing style, and I did watercolor right into the notebook on that one. So go check out all 3 of those videos if you haven't seen them yet. Even if you've already planned for April, which I'm sure most of you have because you're very on top of your lives, I would really appreciate if you gave them a watch, even if it's just in the background, you know, while you're chilling. I've heard I have a relaxing voice. Probably not right now because I've been working on this video for like 12 hours straight, so a little out of my mind, but normally that's what I hear, that's what you tell me. So yeah, help a girl out, support your girl. Watch those videos. I worked hard on them. Okay. Now I'm gonna go. Goodbye.